When I write a poem, I just sit down and I have usually exactly what I want to say just there. It all just kind of comes out, like, very honestly, like at once. My name is Kinsale Hueston, and I'm a poet, and we're currently in my dorm at Yale. I write for myself because poetry is a healing mechanism, and it's easier for me to deconstruct my identity and figure out parts of myself that are more difficult to do without poetry. I started writing for my grandmother because of the grief I experienced when she passed away. I didn't really know how to deal with that, and poetry really helped me. My grandmother was such an amazing person and was such a leader, not just in our family, but she also was this big leader in my mother's community in Navajo Mountain on the reservation. She and her husband, who was a tribal councilman, they both just gave so much to other kids and the community. I feel a responsibility to the people who came before me. Like, as an Indigenous woman, my Native family did so much, like literally survived genocide for me to be here. And we have stories from that. I feel this insane responsibility to preserve those stories, which at one point were only oral. Like, that's how my mother told me those stories, and my grandmother. For me, poetry is the best and most honest means to convey those to whoever comes next, and my children. And so that's the responsibility that I personally feel when it comes to writing. I feel like I've been granted such a privilege in having grown my platform and having people who want to listen to what I have to say in my art and my poetry. But I feel like that's not true with so many other young creatives who don't have the same opportunities. I wanted to share opportunities with other, especially young Indigenous artists. And so Changing Womxn Collective is a platform I'm creating. There's a lot of young people out there who were like me at one point, who felt like they didn't fit in, like they were lost, like they, marginalized voices who were denied the platform. It's also a way for me to raise up other artists and writers. I want to share with other people, share the space. People I interact with make life beautiful for me, whether that's the matriarchs in my family, my aunts and my grandmother and my mother, my siblings, my dad, my friends, the other young artists and leaders I work with. When I get to do this amazing work I do, I come out of the conversations we have feeling like a better person, like more beautiful in a sense. I think writing is a form of doing good. When people bring their truths to the table and bring their voices, no matter their experience, it makes the people you interact with think a different way. And that's so important, especially with the political climate, issues that are going on. If you can bring your voice to the table in whatever form you can, that's doing good. On giving. In Utah, on land that was supposed to never grow a thing, my grandmother coaxed up blue corn with rusty water, thumbed the tumbleweeds from the newborn sprouts. I saw her in the frozen dawn, breath tumbling alive from her lips, diffused and lost within the stalks. She must have fed the entire community with the fury of her love, beans spilling over the sides of her baskets, our palms full of grain and squash. We learned to smile with our mouths full. I remember bucking car rides and truck beds to the chapter house, the extra food thrown to stray dogs, the cups of lemonade passed to children, a yard sale, the smell of green chili and do-good sweat. This woman, a blur of chapped hands and thin limbs raised on commodity meals, her smile lines deepened by the sun, taught us how to give. In the shade of her garden, she showed us how to plant our feet. Side by side, we upturned soil and counted the potato bugs. At night, we roasted the corn we grew together over the fire pit and gave half of everything we had to the families next door. Years after my grandmother passed, the town our family calls home remembers her, always giving more than they could ever return. Her home has become a haven of memories, of women talking with their hands and mother tongues under the yellow light, teaching us words for love, sister, home, alive. Lyrics we carry like legacies. We glow with the dreams of these women, the ones they strung together with their hardened hands, so we would never know the kind of pain that shatters and refuses the stubborn bloom of spring. Instead, we know open doors and affection that bridges generations. We know the circles of giving that stretch skyward from dirty knees, and pumpkin seeds, and sunflowers that sway before us in the morning light.